صلاة ربي وتسليمه عليك يا سيدي يا خير الورى. اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على محمد وآله وصحابته والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. وارض اللهم عن ساداتنا أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي، اللهم آمين يا رب العالمين. أما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Brothers and sisters, Muslim brothers and sisters, Mu'min brothers and sisters, we talked last week about youth engagement, and we said that it's crucial for the existence of our Muslim community in the West. And I had 3 messages last week. One to parents, one to masjid, and one to community as a whole. And one thing I mentioned last week about youth engagement and their faith crisis. One main reason for this faith crisis is the desensitization they go through. Today, I would like to talk more about what I meant by desensitization and what is the answer, and I will conclude with a key given to parents on how to counteract this, how to work on this, how to go for preventative measures to make sure that your children, by the will of Allah, grow up anywhere in the world and still never go through faith crisis, and always accept Islam and believe in Islam the way you accepted it and believed in it. And just to talk about the word desensitization, brothers and sisters, the systematic desensitization is a psychological term that was first introduced in the 1950s by a psychiatrist from South Africa. His name was Dr. Wolby, and it worked very well in therapy. It works very well for people who have phobia of any kind. So, for example, if someone has phobia of heights, they fear heights, and then the psychiatrist asks them first to imagine that they are on the top of a mountain. And when they are in the middle of that anxiety, the psychiatrist starts working them through some relaxing technique, some distractors, some coping skills. And they take them step by step. They fear heights. Today they imagined heights, then they look at a picture of heights, then they take them to the first floor, second floor, third floor, all the way in a skyscraper to the top. But every time, it is anxiety revoking, but at the same time, they teach them some relaxing techniques. And because relaxing and serenity cannot exist with anxiety at the same moment, with this counteract technique, it goes. And that's what desensitization can do. With that simple desensitization. A reminder to turn our cell phone silent, Jazakumullah khairan. With that simple desensitization, turns someone who fears heights into a rock climber because of being exposed systemically to certain things. That's what our youth go through. When they grow up in a community, most of the community around them, whether school or work or college or friends or athletic activities or whatever it is, they are mostly in the middle of what contradicts values in their faith. For example, they hear their peers talk about casinos and gambling. It's fun, it is a joke. But for us, it's a grave sin. They talk about having a boy or a girlfriend. For us in Islam, it is adultery. If no marriage, it is adultery. They hear them talk about drinks and so on and so forth. Yes, at times they might not like that, but through the years, they come to a point when they don't see this as wrong anymore. And that's why we said to our youth, you need to be more engaged, you need to be with people like you, not in color, but people like you in faith. Because alhamdulillah, our masajid, you go around, you wouldn't see any difference regarding colors or gender. We all have one faith and we belong to this faith. So that's just simply what desensitization can do. Let's see what Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam talked about this. What did he comment on something similar? رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام والحديث رواه حذيفة ابن اليمان رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تعرض الفتن على قلب المرء كأعواد الحصير عودا عودا. The Prophet said, temptations will present themselves to man's heart the way reed mat is woven, stick by stick. فأيما قلب أنكرها نكت في قلبه نكتة بيضاء. Whenever a heart rejects this temptation, one by one, he or she will get a white mark in their hearts. وَأَيَّمَا قَلْبٌ أُشْرِبَهَا. And whatever heart impregnated with this temptation accepts it, نُكِتَ فِيهِ نُكْتَةٌ سَوْدَاء. A black mark will be put into their hearts until حَتَّى يَصِيرَ عَلَى قَلْبَيْنِ. Until people will have two types of hearts. A white one كالصفا لا يضره شيء ما دامت السماوات والأرض. A white one that like a safa rock, it's the name of a rock, that nothing will ever harm it as long as heavens, no turmoil, no temptation will ever harm it as long as heavens and earth endure. وقلب أسود مربادا كالكوز مجخيا. And another one is just black and dust color, like a vessel upside down. لا يعرف معروفا ولا ينكر منكرا. Never recognizes what's good and never rejects what's abominable, what's bad, what's wrong. Rasulullah is telling us, sallallahu ala Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, temptation will be presenting themselves. And that's what we live through, not just in the West, anywhere. And that's why Rasulullah said, beware of the little sins. Beware of the minor sins. إِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحَقِّرَاتِ الذُّنُوبِ. For one above another, we say in Arabic, mountains are not but a group of little pebbles. And a huge fire is not but a collection of little firewood together. إن الجبال من مستصغر الحصى من الحصى. That takes us back to our youth and to the parents. Don't underestimate what our children go through. So they go through, they are exposed around the clock to things that we tell them is forbidden, yet they see their peers as good, kind, respectful people, and they are. Yes, their friends are really good humans. It's only if youth is strong to go away from a situation that has something forbidden in his or her faith, yes, but the problem is they see no problem in attending a gathering where people are drinking. And they don't know that, our youth, they don't know that the weakest form of faith is to reject the bad even by heart. If you are there just enjoying the moment, then even your heart. And that's what Rasulullah taught us about the children of Israel. The first decline for them when their scholars advised them and they didn't listen. Scholars advised, didn't listen. However, scholars لم يمنعه ذلك من يكون جليسه وقعيده. Scholars, even though they advised, instead of going away, say, okay, we're not participating, scholars just socialized with them and thought with the same people, they do this day and night, and they ate together and they had fun together. And then Allah made all their hearts all the same. At one time, I talk about the disbelievers of Banu Israel, not the believers in the time of their prophets, not those who followed the prophets, those who did not follow the prophets in their times. Now, صلوا على رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. Brothers and sisters, we talked about desensitization and the danger of what our youth are going through, all their childhood, teenage time, and when it comes to college, it's the most problematic and the most challenging. They go to college with faith crisis, and there they study social sciences and philosophy, and they now have the tools. A tool that's been founded by people mostly that never believed in any God. But now they have the tools to debate, and it's a little too late. When they come to you to explain, they come with a question about your faith, what can you answer? It's been instilled in them. Now, one of the solutions is our faith as our youth being engaged, and we talked about what we do. We talked about hopefully we can go for youth coordinators so our youth can be together, can be with people similar to them in most of their activities, can live their Islam in action, would not feel embarrassed if a girl wearing her Muslim dress wouldn't feel embarrassed when she has people around her. They have no embarrassment of the way their faith is. But I would like to leave something with parents today to work on with their children. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alihi. Brothers and sisters, parents, those who have children, little children, those who plan to get married, grandparents who have children. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam instructed us to teach our children how to pray when they are 7. Rasulullah said, instruct them, teach them how to pray when they are 7, and discipline or beat them if they are 10 and miss prayers. I wouldn't take the Prophet saying beat because he himself has never beaten alayhi salatu wasalam, and if I talk about beating Islam, it would not in any way exceed what New York State sees as a mother spanking her kid. But I'm not with that. What I want to say is, when the Prophet asks you to instruct your children to pray when they are 7 until they are 10, 3 years, 5 times a day, 5,400 something times. If you ask any elementary school teacher, they will tell you that we teach students routine. We establish routine. 180, 190 school days in a year. After a couple months, kids know what to do because they respond to routine. If you, father and mother, remind your child 5 times a day to make wudu and stand next to you and to pray with you, or if you pray at masjid, take them. When you come back, ask them. Mother and father, don't miss one time. If you do this by love, motivation, and most importantly, consistency, you remember to pray, so you remind them. If I ask any one of the older brothers how many prayers you missed since you were 10, I promise you everybody will say none. If you ask a 16 or a 17, they will say, no, we pray one time. And they are happy to pray 1 or 2 times a day. You know, sometimes we... And the difference is what your parents did with you and what are you doing with your children. This is a trust. Now Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam is teaching you to do this to your children at the age of 7 when they don't know even how to challenge your authority as a parent. They are so easy to get into a routine once you do this. And remember, it's a training. It's by love. motivation, encouragement, and most importantly, consistency. I remember, it's okay. Just my son, I asked him once, he was 9, he's here today. He was 9 and he missed a prayer. I said, go do your prayer, it's time. And he said, Dad, it's training, I can't miss one time, right? So I didn't know what to say. I said, okay. So not gonna make a big deal out of it because it's training. But if you have 5,400 something times, and then you think at the age of 10 you still need to discipline, then you didn't do your work right. Why is this important, brothers and sisters? Because this prayer is designed to take us away from temptation. We don't have much time to get indulged anywhere. If your child grows up with that sense, with prayer runs in their blood, when they have the connection with Allah, when they have the prayers more important than anything before sunrise, noon, afternoon, sunset and night, when they leave anything to attend to their prayer, to do their wudu, pure, out and in, face Qibla and connect to Allah, Allah will be always there for them. So parents, the first thing you can help, and inshallah we'll be talking next time, inshallah, more about tips to parents from Islam. How could you connect your children to the faith? اللهم اهدنا واهد أبنائنا اللهم اهدنا. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله وكفى وصلاة وسلاما على عباده الذين اصطفى. Brothers and sisters, raising our children in the West or anywhere in the world, this time is challenging. We just be on the straight path, we as adults, is so challenging. And our children face temptations more than we can even fathom. We should recognize that, and we should be there for them. We started by saying, open up to your children, befriend them, listen to them, talk to them, be the closest person to them. Get them more engaged with masjid and with their community. And kids start preventative measure. It is your trust. It's what Allah has it's what Rasulullah has instructed you with. And that's what you will meet Allah with. And by the way, when you teach your child to pray, every time you're getting the same reward. You pray and their prayer. A woman came to Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, carrying a baby, a little baby. قالت يا رسول الله ألي هذا حج? Does pilgrimage count for this one? Rasulullah said, yes, ولك أجر. Yes, and you are rewarded. It is your duty, it is your job, it is your amana. And it is something you're rewarded for. And brothers and sisters, if you think there is anything more important than teaching our kids prayer, then we ourselves should evaluate our faith and our iman. One day we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't make it that your child say, Ya Allah, wallahi they never taught me. I grew up, never taught me. It became so difficult for me. That goes for prayer, that goes for fasting. Train them when they are little, so when they grow up, they be like you. When it's prayer time, nothing is dearer to their heart than performing prayer and connecting to Allah. And Allah will always protect and guide them. اللهم احفظنا بحفظك، اللهم احفظنا بحفظك، اللهم احفظنا بالإسلام قائمين وقاعدين، واحفظنا بالإسلام راقدين، واحفظنا بالإسلام في كل وقت وحيد، ولا تشمت بنا عدوا ولا حاسدا يا رب العالمين. اللهم تقبل توبتنا واغسل حوبتنا وأجل